Welcome to Widowcast Podcast, where you learn how to find the strength to get through your journey and the skills to coach other widows. This is not your average grief group. This is your journey group. It just may show you the way to make something amazing come out of the emotional pain and trauma of widowhood. I'm your host, Joanne Filomena. I'm the best-selling author of Widowed and Widow Coach, and I'm a professional certified life coach. Let the healing and your personal journey begin. Hi, I'm Joanne, and you're listening to episode 68, When the Universe Conspires. Welcome back, my friends. Hey, ladies. When the universe conspires to point you in a specific direction or set you down in the right place at the right time, it can be so amazing. It's like a giant goosebump moment, right? So you might wonder what I mean about the universe conspiring. I experienced a perfect example of this back at the start of the week. Now, you're probably listening to this next week, so it would have been last week. It takes a while to get these podcast episodes processed and uploaded for all of you. I was flying home to New York after spending Thanksgiving out in California with my family. And flying out of Oakland on Southwest, I grabbed a middle seat. I've discovered that the middle seat is actually, for me, the most comfortable on the Southwest Airlines planes. I used to always grab a window seat because I like to look out the window and I could lean against that side wall of the airplane if I was going to snooze. But what I discovered was I started noticing all the really big guys getting on an airplane and they would take middle seats. And I thought, what the heck? Now they've got their great big dude shoulders pushing into two different people, right? But what I discovered was on certain airplanes, the middle seat is slightly wider than the seat next to the window or in the aisle. And by wider, I don't necessarily mean the tush space, but the space underneath the seat in front of you where you put your carry-on and where you stick your feet is just a little more spacious because where they have to do the bolt downs for the seats. Check it out next time you're on an airplane. See if you can see that. I don't know if all airlines have the bolt downs in the same patterns as the Southwest planes do. Primarily, I just fly Southwest. So I found I could stick my carry-on under that middle seat easily and still have room to stick my feet out in front of me, which is really nice. Otherwise, my knees ache by the time I get to where I'm going. So, as I was getting on the airplane, and I always look for a middle seat where there's already someone in the aisle seat and someone in the window seat that are not linebackers, not football players. In other words, two people I know I'm going to be comfortable in between, right? I don't want the crazy looking guy So I picked out a middle seat close to the front of the plane. There was a place for my overhead bag, and I sat down. I put my AirPods in my ears to listen to a podcast. You know, I not only love podcasting, but listening to podcasts. It gets me through long trips if I have a few fascinating topics lined up to listen to, right? And sometimes listening to podcasts will even put me to sleep, which is a big plus on airplanes as far as I'm concerned. If I should have the luck to actually fall asleep, it's like a blessing, especially when I fly from New York to California. That's long flights. You have to change planes. It's usually about the shortest these days is like 8 to 9 hours of travel. Some trips I see are as long as 12 to 14 hours. I don't book those flights. I just don't book those flights. I don't want to do hours and hours layover somewhere. But they're still long flights. So anything to get through them. So I had my AirPods in my ears listening to a podcast. And after a little while, the lady next to me in the aisle seat asked me something. So I pulled out my AirPods to hear her, and we conversed for a moment. As I went to put my AirPods back in my ears, something sunk into my brain. She had just said something about being on her own now. And I almost hesitated to even ask it, you guys. You know what I'm thinking, right? I lowered the AirPods again and said, "Are you widowed?" And she said, "Yes, my husband died a month ago. Now my kids want me to move, but it isn't feeling right to me." Well, I took a moment to put my AirPods back into the case and put them away and ponder if I should go ahead and tell her what it is I do for a living. And I did. I did tell her, I've written a couple books about being widowed. And she said, "Really?" I said, "Yes. And it's what I do for a living. I'm a widow coach." I assured her she was going to be okay. That's like just the first thing. She's a brand new widow, 1 month. I told her she was just in a state of shock that was going to take some time to wear off, that she was going to screw things up. She would file things and never be able to find them again, right? And I asked if she'd like a little coach's perspective on moving near her kids. And she immediately said yes. So we began talking about it. I began coaching her. It was going to be a 5-hour flight into Baltimore. So, this will break up my flight a little bit, right? The next thing we know, the pilot came on over the airplane speakers saying, "Secure cabin for landing." I was like, what? We were both shocked that we were already over Baltimore, where we both had our connecting flights. And the 5-hour flight from California to Baltimore felt like an hour. I mean, it's like we had been in our own little time warp. Both of us were like just shocked and amazed to be descending to the landing strip. She took down my information and the titles of my books. And yes, I ended up coaching for free. It happens a lot. And she had an eye-opening flight home. And I got to have a flight that I swear was an hour long instead of 5 hours. As impossible as that is. The universe clearly conspired for me to pick that middle seat. I was meant to be there. I was meant to sit there. As a matter of fact, there was a middle seat open on both sides of the aisle right in that location, with a spot in the overhead for my overhead bag. I could have picked either one. Both sides of the aisle had, very likely looking row mates for the flight. The universe put my butt in that seat. When the universe conspires, right? I spend almost all of my time and energy teaching widows the skill of life coaching and certifying them as widow coaches. It's my passion. And there's a lofty goal in my heart to create widow centers manned by trained professional widow coaches who've had the direct experience of being widowed. But there's another passion. As a professional life coach, I started the focus of my coaching business as a weight loss coach. As a matter of fact, on one of those Facebook throwback reminders, when you go on Facebook and every now and then at the top of your newsfeed, it shows you one of your old posts that you can share again. It showed me a post I wrote 8 years ago saying, "Relearning what hunger feels like and how to use it to my advantage." You see, even before coaching, I was constantly researching why diets don't work and why our bodies do what they do. Finally, this year, after taking a long hiatus to just coach with widows and to begin teaching widows life coaching skills so they can work coaching other widows, I decided to do a stop overeating class again. I love teaching this class and seeing the changes in both the bodies and the minds of my clients, right? So I wanted to do a 12-week class, just kind of as a one-off, just to sharpen up my own eating protocol. I needed to clean it up myself, so let's teach a class. And after that first 12-week class, I decided to do another run of it because there were several people who contacted me about it after the initial class was already underway. And it turned out that most of the class this time around are widows. I didn't advertise it for widows. I didn't even think about it being for widows. It just happened that way. And it made me realize how many widows also deal with weight issues. Either the additional gain of weight after losing their spouse, or as an ongoing life issue that maybe existed even before becoming widowed. Maybe even now you feel it's the one thing you want to deal with and overcome finally. When the universe conspires, I tell you, having the extra class to teach became a bit hard because there's so much I do already, like creating these podcasts, writing the books I've written, sharing free classes online, talking to each and every one of you who are interested in widow coaching. I don't get to all of you. There's so many of you who respond. I just spoke with a couple of potential weight loss clients to break the news to them that I no longer do stop overeating coaching individually and probably will not be continuing the stop overeating class. Hey, working 12-hour days gets to be a bit much. And I do it not because I'm under the gun or I have to work, but because this is my life and my love and my passion. And when you're so freaking excited about what it is you're creating in the world and what it is you're doing, when you have a purpose that's so much bigger than just yourself, it doesn't feel like work. You wake up excited, you just jump into it. So I really didn't want to keep doing that 12-week stop overeating class. I wanted to just conserve all my energy for my Widow Coach certification classes. Yet at the same time, the way the universe conspires, I began asking myself if there was a way to just enroll widows in this program as they want to join in. I mean, right now, I teach a 12-week stop overeating class in a specific order. So if I do a class, we start it on a set date, and we go for 12 weeks to finish, right? And I go through 12 different lessons. I go through a progression. But I thought maybe I could change the structure of the class so anyone could jump in at any time and just stay in the course for 12 weeks and get it all. Maybe have the initial lessons on video, so each week you could watch the video, get the worksheets, and then get on the live call with us for my coaching and further instruction. It could work. I could serve even more of you this way. I would love to focus my Stop Overeating Masterclass on working with widows. So I put it out there to all of you. All of you who might be interested in a widow's Stop Overeating Masterclass. At the end of this podcast, I'll let you know how to reach out and let me know if this is something you want me to do. I teach this unlike anything you've ever done about your weight before. I mean, it'll blow your mind because my passion through my life in dealing with this issue of losing weight, gaining it back, losing weight, gaining it back, I finally realized all of the different diets and different programs I had done, they all worked great for losing weight. I could take weight off, but it would always come back. For some reason, I used to think I was broken. It turns out the whole concept of dieting is broken. What I teach you will blow your mind. Okay, we work on the foods that affect the hormones in your body so you can get your hormones and hunger back into balance to make weight loss so much easier. We work on the patterns of eating to create the pattern that's going to facilitate your natural weight and make you feel fantastic. I help you create a protocol for eating that is just for you and works for you to drop weight and be able to keep it gone for the rest of your life. Then we get into what I like to call the drama. It's all the mindset that has kept you struggling. The diet brain that we've developed over the decades of dieting misinformation. I mean, think about it. Just what we need. A diet brain to go along with our widow brain fog, right? We get into exactly what emotional eating is and how to deal with those emotions. So I coach you on your life. Now you can hear kind of how passionate I am about the Stop Overeating class. I'm equally as passionate to train widows in life coaching tools. I love my certified widow coaches, and I've started a new mentorship for the ones that have certified in my 12-week class so that we can build their coaching business together. We are going to take 2018 by storm. Take my word for it. So if you're interested in that, reach out to me too. But if you think I should go forward to creating the Stop Overeating class as an ongoing program for widows to deal with yo-yo dieting, emotional eating, the need for weight loss, drop me an email. Okay? Don't be shy. I know it's weird to sometimes send an email to somebody you don't really know. But I want you to let me know. You can just drop me an email, put weight loss in the subject line, and send it to Joanne at JoanneTheLifeCoach.com. That's Joann, Joanne, no E. Joanne at JoanneTheLifeCoach.com is my email address. If I see enough responses, then I'm going to move forward to put together this class as just an ongoing enrollment. If there's not many responses, that's cool. I will leave the Stop Overeating class behind, and I'm okay with that. Widow coaching is my jam, right? Training and certifying widows to coach other widows is my heart. And that's a big dream, people. A big dream that I want to make happen. For that dream, I need widows who are committed to working at something bigger than themselves. What I'm working at is so much bigger than just me. And if you do that with me, it makes every morning you wake up exciting. Right? My life has a direction. It has a purpose. So you can come build this widow coaching network with me. If you think you're ready for something more in your life than just getting through each day, go to widowcoaches.com. Okay? That's where you can enter your name and email so I can send you to a questionnaire and we'll see if it's a good fit for you. We'll see if you're ready to invest in your future with that class at widowcoaches.com. And also don't forget, if you are interested in that Widow Stop Overeating class, drop an email with weight loss in the subject line to Joanne at JoanneTheLifeCoach.com. I would love to do both these things. And I'll be talking more about widow coaching on this podcast moving forward because I want to share more and more of that with you and with my book, The Widow Coach, with you so that you can find out more about the techniques of coaching, self-coaching. I've been spending my morning, it's a Sunday, I've spent my Sunday morning reviewing 2017 and all the results I've created in my life and began planning for 2018. It's just a little of the self-coaching that I do and that I want to teach to all of you for you to be able to do. So look forward to more episodes this month in December. where I can talk to you about any results in your life, both wanted and unwanted results that you experienced in 2017, and how we learn from that to go forward into our next year. Okay? So, get out there, you guys. Find some joy in your life, and I'll talk to you next week.